short version of your beautiful platform, SOPACT, too.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Hanadi, for inviting our journey. For those of you just start out, before we talk about the tool, again, my name is Unmesh. I'm a founder and CEO of SOPACT. I've been here in the Silicon Valley for the last 33 years. And just before even we start, essentially, I would like to talk about some of the major things that is changing around us, essentially. And I'm sure we all are very quite intently aware of that. So as you may know, the current COVID-19 has really forced every businesses, every impact investors, and every philanthropy to rethink what is their sustainability footprint, what is their impact, social impact or environmental impact. And everybody's redesigning and going back on the drawing board and really trying to clarify what the impact is. And many of them who have been in the past been what people used to call really saying, hey, this is what our impact is. And that was called SDG impact, greenwashing. Sometimes people use the word, or sometimes people use the word SDG washing, impact washing. The time for doing those impact washing or greenwashing is over. I think many of these companies who were really been doing that, putting SDG logo on their annual report, they're going to be called out. Essentially, it's really, we are entering the new age where everybody's pressured to understand what the impact is. And to understand what the impact is, real evidence of the impact is really critical, whether you are a business, whether you are impact investors or the philanthropy altogether. So Dr. Hanadi and SOPACT is we are a partner in the social impact ecosystems. Our passion is to really accelerate the growth of or help world transition from sustainable and by becoming more equitable. So I'll talk about SOPACT in general, but I really want to start by really giving a little bit of background of what is the social impact is. So social impact is really about in organizations, which may be anything. It can be very large capacity building organizations or a social impact accelerator. And they want to accelerate the growth, not just in the financial terms. I think most people are used to be saying financial growth, but also in a social and impact and environmental growth. And so that means to do that, it needs number one, which is it requires intention. Intention, if you don't have intention and if you want to continue with the business as usual, business at any cost or profit at any cost, this is not the right approach for us. I mean, where we work with it is to organizations who truly want to transform into social and environmental alignment altogether. So that's really the main key process altogether is. So how do we go about doing that? And I'll very briefly talk about, show you the platform as well, what this thing is all about. But more than platform, it's important to understand what is it that we are trying to solve here. So large businesses or membership organizations, many of them are now really pressured to understand what is the social return and financial return both. The time to just say, yeah, financial return is just over. And so fundamentally, we try to go and understand what are their actual impact goals are. And it really always starts with what is it that they want to learn? Because the way we are trying to help working is to, impact is all about learning and growing. It's not a one-time process, it's a lifetime process. And so you change your enterprise to design around the improvement on the impact over the period of time. Obviously, the next step is to bridge a gap. And bridging a gap involves learning the stakeholders. So if I'm working in a developing country context, it's very important for me to understand if I'm working on mother and child mortality issues, what are the key factors are needed to really improve the data collection process from the health worker. Or if you are working in a developed country context, and I'm working on a mechanical engineer association, and I want to understand some of the programs I'm doing for the education, very important to understand the students, their outcome what was their feeling before the program started, what was the outcome was created after the program was started altogether. And so it's important to clearly identify and learn and listen to the stakeholder. And that's where you can start telling the story. That's where you can start connecting data to the impact altogether. And there are many things that's happening in the space that allows you to connect your the data that you collect from the stakeholder with what we call is impact evidence altogether. And really, it comes down to understanding. And this is a little bit difficult for people who are coming from the business world, because many people who really come from business world, they have seen the business canvas and they have seen the 7 different quadrants of things about what is unique value proposition, who's the partners. So that's great. It's needed. I mean, and if I'm starting my business that's socially aligned, and typically the word is called social enterprise, the key thing is that do what we say is build theory of change. And theory of change is a very much of a foundation of understanding what the impact is. And so theory change starts with what we call as what is the input, what is like a funding, or what is the volunteer time, or what are the input to the program, what is the input to the investment, what is the output, what is the outcome. Outcome is more important, because, for example, if you are just simply serving some children or for the meal services, that's called output. That doesn't tell you what change you are making altogether. But outcome is something, what is the overall improvements? Are they able to find the jobs? Are they able to look for other opportunities altogether? And that is what the social impact is all about. And so very important, before we understand the impact evidence, very important to design that theory of change aspect of it altogether. And as you can see on the screen, really it's just like a business canvas. You start with the inputs, define the activities, output, and outcomes altogether. Now, like or not, this is quite advanced and mature state. This may be a little bit new for the people coming to the business background, but people who are coming from impact investments and philanthropy, this is new. Although businesses are also starting to get to know about that, because many of the businesses, we are starting to talk, very large businesses, they have to redesign the strategy around the social impact as well. And so it's very important to start with what we call is the impact framework. An impact framework is basically, it's a theory change that aligns with what we call is a standard-based metrics. So there are hundreds and thousands of metrics that's available in our platform. Many of them coming from sustainability backgrounds, many of them are coming from the charity background, many of them coming from impact investment background, or international development background. So you choose the right metrics that can be more actionable to prove that you are really truly doing the impact altogether. And the third component is to really ultimately align every goal around sustainable development goal, because ultimately, and those who are coming here today in a session from OECD will understand there are 17 goals of sustainable development goal. And within each of the goals, there are a series of targets that every nation has to be adhering to. And fundamentally, it's about aligning those indicators with those SDG goal and target altogether. And that is what we call is an impact knowledge or impact strategy that you build as a step number 1. Once you design that, it's very important to, as I mentioned earlier, is to really start listening to the stakeholders, whether you are working in developed countries or in developing countries. It's very important to design and collect the data in a pre, midline, and post data. So essentially, you can prove the impact, the change that you're making over the period of time. Now, this is quite complex, because depending on the context, if you're working in a developing country context, you may be working with the stakeholder which are in rural area. So how do you collect the data where internet can be quite spotty, versus more developed area like US or Netherlands or any other part there, you can collect data using SMS or text messaging or the email messages. So you have to have different ways, or what we call the Swiss Army knife of data collection process, so that you can collect the data regardless of where they are, and then start applying the learning aspect of it. Now, learning is extremely important. Impact is not about reporting. Impact is about learning and improving. What I mean by that is that it's very important. It's not like unlike in a financial world, you have a standard metrics like PE ratio or PEG ratio, or that's not how things really can be benchmarked. Partly because impact is very complex. Since it is complex, you need to understand from several dimensions. And the key dimensions that are what we call who are we serving? So let's say you want to fund a business, which is a gym. One business is going to focus on more wealthy neighborhood. Obviously, the financial return may be higher, for example, but the overall impact on the health may not be high because people are healthy to begin with. So how much improvements can you really do? As opposed to building gym on more underprivileged community. There, obviously, the financial return may be higher, but impact may be much significantly higher because these people may have a lot of chronic disease. And so how do you really, in those cases, they can significantly improve their health outcome, which may have a much better return in terms of outcomes. So it's very important to understand who are you serving, who are you working with it, what is the outcome, what is the change you are creating in terms of a health outcome here, in this case of the gym. What is the depth and scale of the impact? What is the contribution of my investments or my entrepreneurs' investments towards the program? And ultimately, what is the risk if I don't really fund this program? It may be that this person may have a much more hospital cost, and ultimately government has to take care of that risk altogether. So that is what we call this a 5 dimensions. So impact is a multi-dimensional issue that is important to understand. And ultimately, as you can see on the left side of the screen here,
you are running out of time, Unmesh, so you need to wrap up in a minute or so.
Okay, I will do that. And so fundamentally, you explain these results through what we call as outcome, which shows the change you are making over the period of time. And as I've been saying all along, it's really about learn, improve, and repeat. Make sure you keep listening. Who are the best organizations to start on this journey? Organizations who are doing collective impact, so social impact accelerators would be one of them, capacity builders, and international development organizations. And the key thing is that it's very important to make informed decision, to amplify impact and manage the reputation risk. If you don't do that, in a new post-COVID world, you're going to be called out. For more information, you're welcome to come to our website, sopac.com, or if this presentation is distributed, we have all the guides. That is, you can download it and you can use it. Again, please feel free to download all the resources. I'll be happy to talk offline. You can reach out to me through the website. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And Judy Mahan, who is the founder and CEO of Angel Gen Partners. Good morning.
Hi, Agnes. Good morning. So I'm going to share my screen and my presentation. Let's see. Share the screen now. Here we go. Can anyone hear me okay?
Yes, we hear you fine.
Okay. So very similarly to a discussion we had yesterday, I think in the same way that, everything that we've put in place, all the tools, all the strategies, not only is it good for our innovation entrepreneurship